And so this female reporter from the CBS in New York, and I'm sorry I don't remember her name, she says, Andrew, just go up to the podium and use the microphone. And he said, can I do that? He goes, yeah, they're not coming for another 10 minutes, and they're late anyway. Go ahead. That way at least we can hear you. Well, Andrew didn't know that on every single cable channel, at that moment, you saw, in a little square, you saw Megyn Kelly talking about, we're awaiting Anthony Weiner, and in a big square was an empty podium. There were cameras across the country focused on this empty podium. And so at any moment, we'll have Anthony Weiner joining us, and he'll be giving a press conference. We're not sure what he's going to say. He might deny that those pictures are him, or he might be resigning, or he's going to fight on. We don't know, but we're waiting to hear. And suddenly, in this blank frame comes... And so we're on the air, right? And I say to the producer, all right, well, the Anthony Weiner press conference, whenever Anthony Weiner comes to the podium, let's go to that audio, because that's breaking news, right, Charlie? You got to do that. He was like, all right, so we'll do that. And it's like, okay, well, we're getting to the top of the hour. I think it was noon or 1 o'clock. And all right, well, we'll start our segment, and we'll tell the audience that that's what's going to happen. And then when he comes to the podium, we'll go. So I start the segment. It's 30 seconds in, and I hear the producer in my ear, Larry. Larry, you might want to go to the audio now. Oh, is he early? Oh, okay, we've got... No, it's not him. And then that happened. And so, but just, it was never his plan, it was never his idea, and he never planned to do that. But something really great happened. And it is, again, get Hating Breitbart, because it really is, Hating Breitbart, the film by Andrew Marcus, who was actually from Chicago, and there's Wisconsin footage in there from Madison, and I know I'm going long probably, so I want to talk about Wisconsin for a minute. But there's a moment in there when Andrew, it was a cathartic moment, I think, and it's something that we can all own, all of us who've worked with him, because when you hit against Andrew, and he took so many hits, he hit all of us. We all took it, we all felt it, and none of us were allowed to say anything. We weren't allowed to go on Twitter and defend Andrew. When I did, he got mad at me. He said, don't do that. I got this. I don't want other people in this. It's fine. And it was because he saw himself as the one that needed to take all of those arrows. Something, I can't explain it, but that's what he needed to do for himself. And he didn't, when we went on television, we went on the radio, we did not defend him. We didn't attack the people we weren't supposed to. That was his job, or it went unresponded to, and that was fine too. Because he truly believed that the attacks that he would get from the left actually always ended up diminishing them and strengthening him. And if you look at the videos, if you look at him going, he's the guy who goes to the protesters as they're screaming to challenge them. He's not the one who walks away from them. And ultimately, within 3 minutes of going to those protesters, the protesters look like complete idiots or hateful bigots, and they turn and walk away. There's a moment at the press conference where Andrew finally says to the press, literally to the press, face to face, he said, you know what? I hear this all the time. Breitbart lied, Breitbart lied, Breitbart lied about this, Breitbart lied about Acorn, Breitbart lied about that, Breitbart lied about this. Tell me right now, tell me one lie. Tell me one lie that we told. Yeah, it was about that silent. And that thankfully happened before he passed away. It was a pretty great moment. I want to bring it back to Wisconsin, and then we'll do question and answer. So I'm so proud. The whole country is proud of what you guys did last year with the recall. But of course, you're here because you know that it's not over. It's never over, frankly. And it's just going to get worse. But I know that you're here to try to learn and try to model what Andrew did. And so I want to take that first week in Madison as an example. This is weird. We're always in weird places, but for some reason, when that happened, I was on a cruise. I was on a little vacation with my family down to Mexico, but the great thing about cruising these days is if you pay through the nose, you can get internet. And I did. So I'm working and trading and doing videos and stuff. And video was a huge part of pushing the Madison story, because when the world saw what was going on here, not through what CNN wanted to show you, but what was really going on when you saw what they were doing to your beautiful rotunda, when they saw the drum circles, when they saw all the thuggery, the birth of the Occupy movement. That's when people started to say, hold on a minute, this is not America. And so we were very, very busy. And about 2 days into it, Andrew sends me, I'm in the ship, and Andrew sends me an instant message saying, hey, you're from Michigan? And I said, yeah. He says, I'm going to Wisconsin tomorrow. Really? He says, yeah. What should I bring? Your love of bratwurst? You mean, what do you bring? Well, it's February. Well, Andrew, it's got to be real cold. You got to bring everything. In fact, you probably have to buy something. Andrew's not a snow guy. But I said, why are you going? He says, well, I have to. And I said, well, what are you going to do when you get there? He says, I don't know, but I have to be there because of what he was seeing. And you know, years from now, a lot of people are going to write about politics and media during this time that we're living in right now, the last 5 years and probably the next few years. And they're going to write it the way they want to write it. But you need to remember something. At that time, when all hell was breaking loose here in Madison, there were two prominent conservatives that I know of, that I can remember, that came here. Andrew Breitbart and Sarah Palin.
That's right.
And the two of them are really an interesting pair. And they struck up a very interesting friendship, actually. And I have great respect and admiration for Sarah Palin, and I think that she did a great job when she was here. But here's the interesting thing about the two of them coming here and how the narrative shifted in Madison, in my opinion, that week. Everyone knows Sarah Palin was here, but can you tell me right now, other than give a speech, and it was a great speech, what did she do and what did she say in the speech, specifically? Or do you remember any memorable line from the speech?
Fight like a girl.
Fight like a girl. That was her big line. You're right. That was it. Now, do you remember Andrew Breitbart's line?
Oh, yeah. Go to hell.
Go to hell. And only Andrew could say that because he didn't have to worry about votes. And he didn't have to worry about the media opinion because they already had formed their opinion and he was already used to getting beaten up. And he didn't have to worry about political correctness because he pulled down his pants and did his business on political correctness every single day. He saw political correctness as the insidious evil that it is. All political correctness is an editing of the First Amendment. And so he observed this band of bust-in union thugs, professional protesters, surrounding this group of patriots who were there to support their duly elected officials in carrying out the legal work that they were elected to do. He saw this band of thugs screaming and trying to drown them out and silence them from speaking their minds. And this is the moment that tells you everything you need to know about Andrew Breitbart. Everyone says he was a fighter. Everyone says that he went to war. Everybody says that he was, this brute that was ready to stand up to the bad guys. And you know what? I guess he was all those things, but he didn't fight. He fought back. The fight started on that side. And Sarah Palin can't go up and say to those union people, go to hell, because she might want to be president someday. Or a TV star. Either way, you can't say go to hell. Only Andrew Breitbart can do that. So, the other thing that you remember from Andrew that week, and really probably even more important than any of the speeches, was when he was walking down the street, and there was always someone with a camera following him, and he walked over to a bunch of doctors who were giving out notes to union teachers who had taken the day off to come and protest. These teachers came and abandoned their jobs illegally, abandoning teachers in the classroom, or students in the classroom, or in some cases, illegally taking those students with them for an unauthorized field trip to protest against their government in Madison. And there were doctors on the street putting their reputations on the line, putting their names literally on a line, signing it, saying, oh yeah, you were sick, here's your note. You can get paid for being here. Paid tax dollars for being here because it's part of your sick leave. Now, as a journalist, there's a couple of ways to go about covering that story. Now, I'm sure that someone on staff at NBC News would cover the story in a very fair and balanced way, and I'm sure that they would interview the principal of the school and the head of the union and the head of the hospital where the doctors worked, and about a week and a half later, they'd have probably a very balanced expose of what happened. We don't have to play by those rules, because you have to understand that all of those rules are a false construct created by journalism schools over the last 5 decades. Thomas Paine was really the first American journalist. And if you think about it, Thomas Paine was nothing but an anonymous blogger. And instead of a laptop and Wi-Fi, he had a printing press in his stable. That should be your model. Not Dan Rather, not Edward R. Murrow, not Walter Cronkite. So Andrew Breitbart, our Thomas Paine, this is how he covers the story. Hey, Christian, come here, bring your camera. Come on, no, just, are we rolling? Okay, just follow me. And he walked up to the doctors. Can I get a doctor's note? Sure. What's your name? Andrew Breitbart. 500,000 hits later, Fox News primetime later, the story is being told from a different perspective, and we didn't have to wait for all of it, because you don't need it. We're smarter than that. We're not as stupid as journalists want to think most Americans are. You don't need to hear the rest of the story. There is no rest of the story. So, those are 2 examples. Go to hell, get good video of something that's so self-explanatory that you don't need all of that other explanation. That's how you change things in the new media. That's what Andrew taught us. And frankly, if we don't follow his lead, and if we don't use the tools that he spent so much to give to us, we really are dishonoring him. And I know we don't want to do that. And now I'm done talking. Finally. And I'm sorry if I took too long, but do you have any questions?